You're listening to This Week in Geek, Niagara's Viagra.
Boing!
What's that?
What? That was a Viagra sound effect. Just, like a, never mind.
Did you grow up with a NES, PlayStation, Star Wars, cartoons, and 80s TV? Do you like to think who would win in a fight between Batman and the Master Chief? Comics, games, movies, music, and TV. They're gonna tell you everything you need. Superheroes or not, they got your back. They're gonna save the world of geeks. Comics, games, movies, music, and TV. They're gonna tell you everything you need. Superheroes or not, they got your back. They're gonna save the world of geeks. This Week in Geek. This Week in Geek.
Hey guys, you are listening to Niagara's New Rock 90.1 FM. I'm, of course, Mike the Birdman Dodd, joined with the rest of my Twigites.
Pierce the Punk Dirks.
Stefan the Skunk Peltier.
And David Double D Dennis.
And yes, we have copied every other show on this station by having 4 people in the booth and reducing sound quality. Because that's just how we roll here at Twig. And dead air. That's wonderful, guys. So, yeah. So, anyway, yes. I'm back from vacation of holidays in Turkey.
Where the hell were you last week, Mike?
I was actually up in Owen Sound, which is my old hometown with my good old dear grandmother. And, I was actually listening to the show last week via hacked wireless connection.
Classy. Very classy.
Yeah,
very nice.
It was nice simply because I got to listen to the show, and then they cut me off. They booted me right out of the network, so I was relying on my BlackBerry the whole time to get my news updates. Trying to manage the site from up north just doesn't damn well work. It kind of sucked ass, actually. But that's okay. So this week, yes, we're back. All of us are here. In fact, today is quite the action-packed day. We actually have to run out of here as soon as the show is over, because we are going to Toronto for Gaming Invasion 08 at the Best Buy at Dundas and Yonge today. We'll be covering it for ScrewAttack.com's Hard News.
Yay!
Which is pretty cool stuff. Plus, also, another bit of exciting news is that Pierce and the rest of the Twig crew here have got full media access to the Toronto After Dark Film Festival.
We do?
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, we are basically equivalent to Entertainment Tonight Canada. We can go to all the after parties, all the premieres, talk to whoever the hell we want to. Yeah, we just hit the big time, guys.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty sweet, so we'll probably have some sort of up-to-date coverage. Not maybe day-to-day, but at least once or twice a week, probably via your blog, Mike.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to check out the blog at birdmanofsteel.com, we will be doing that. So, guys, why don't you tell me about your week while I get everything else loaded up here?
All right, you guys start.
You first, Dave.
Okay. This week was just, I don't know. Well, first there was Canadian Thanksgiving for any of the American listeners who don't know. It was this Monday. And yeah, that was fun, although we actually celebrated it on Sunday. So Monday was like soup day. We had soup with all the turkey, not like anyone cares. But yeah, and I cleaned my room, and I cleaned out my iTunes and got rid of all the music I don't want. I'm proud of myself for that.
You know what's weird? You actually sounded like a mix between a 5-year-old, I clean my room, and a respectable college young man. It was kind of funny, Dave. And Steph, what about you, other than recovering from nunchuck elbow?
Nunchuck elbow. Mike!
And Wiimote arm.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna...
Wiimote wrist, I should say.
All right,
true.
I guess it's time for the weekly. I'm gonna kill you guys.
Yep, pretty much. So, yes, we have discussed, since Stefan's asexuality is resulting in many different things, he now has Wiimote wrist and nunchuck elbow.
Yeah, all right.
It's a tragic incident, and you can donate at birdmansteel.com via our PayPal link.
Now you're just extorting people.
Well, yeah, because we're going to get you an inflatable love doll.
I'm really going to kill you if you do that.
It will be looked like Sarah Palin. So yes, you can be Nailin' Palin or whatever it is. Anyway.
I think that would be hot, personally.
Why?
Why, Michael Dodd?
Because it's
I think
early.
Sarah Palin is hot.
So do I, actually. Although,
moving on.
Actually, weird bit of news. We were, me and Pierce were watching the Urban Legends movies last night, which we will be talking about today. And we were just browsing websites while we were doing research for the show, and we found this really ridiculous picture of John McCain with his tongue sticking out doing the butt shuffle behind Barack Obama. Best picture of all time. I have to thank some of our friends out on Twitter for posting those unique links. Oh, that reminds me. Speaking of Twitter, this is a bit of happy news. A young woman went missing last week. That's not the happy news. And social networking was a very big part of helping find her. Like, there was a MySpace group, a Facebook group, Twitter people looking for this car, and they found her yesterday morning at 10 o'clock in Macon, Georgia, safe and sound. Which I found that pretty cool. I'm trying to get some kind of an interview with the family and the people that were involved in helping find her, simply because I think it's really incredible that social networking and media was used like this to help bring somebody home.
Why couldn't this have come up at last week's show?
I don't know. Well, technically she went missing last Saturday.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah, she ran away from home. No details are forthcoming, so I'm not really going to speculate. But yeah, it was kind of. It's a nice heartwarming story for all us net nerds, knowing that we came together in a time of need.
This is a little bit similar to that story of the guy who got lost in the woods and used the light from his iPod to find his way out.
Yeah, that's...
See, technology is good.
Exactly, and if you're not a high tech, you suck. Speaking of things that don't suck, we're going to throw it right to Dave's rant this week, and there's nothing more I really can say about this one, so I'm just going to let it kick to the rant and, well, enjoy what Dave has for random.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere, friends to know and ways to grow, a reading rainbow. I can be anything. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. A reading rainbow.
LeVar Burton here. Reading Rainbow. I've asked several celebrities to read some books and tell you what they think about the books. But don't take my word for it. Hi, Christopher Walken, and I read a book. It's called The Paper Bag Princess, and has so many bright, colorful pictures. She has a paper bag, and she lives in a castle. Captivating book. Mr. William Shatner here, and I read a book for you all. It was wonderful. It was called The Cat in the Hat Came Back. He's in a hat, and he comes back for more. Absolutely shocking.
James Earl Jones here, and I read the book Shrek. Most people fail to realize that Shrek was in fact based on a book. It's wonderful. Much more sophisticated than the movie. The DreamWorks picture. I mean, sure, the first two Shrek movies were good, but Shrek 3 was terrible. This franchise has failed me for the last time.
Samuel Jackson here. I got my cool on for y'all. I got it. They made me read a book. Oh, I read it. Yeah, I read it. It was, Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing.
Alrighty then. Jim Carrey here, and I read a book. It was so cool. It was Dumbo, and he's an elephant, he flies into space. Yeah. Alright, let's, read books, kids.
Look at me, I'm Robert De Niro, kids. I read a book, okay? The Little Engine That Could. It doesn't think it can, but then it does. It beats all its friends and it rises to the top. Ha!
Oh, so I remember I had to do a clip. I had to do talking about a book for you. I'm Jeff Goldblum, by the way. I did a book about dinosaurs. It's actually quite incredible. It's the novelized version of the movie. We're back. Oh, but it's wonderful. There's dinosaurs, but we must be wary of the dinosaurs. They kill and yell and poop, and the running and the screaming. Oh. LeVar Burton, you didn't take my word for it. Listen to celebrities. Read a book.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. There are 5 steps to ensure you're breast aware. Know your normal look and feel. Know what changes to look for. Look and feel for changes. Let your doctor know about them. And go for a free mammogram if you're the appropriate age or if recommended by a doctor. You can find out more information on the website for the Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation at cbcf.org. There are many ways for you to get involved, whether it be donate, participate, volunteer, or shop for the cure. Visit cbcf.org.
And wouldn't you know it, I'll be darned if that silly cat didn't just jump off the bed right there.
Oh, snicker.
Ezekiel begat Joshua. Joshua begat Abraham.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jim and Liam from the Happy Hour.
If you want a radio show that won't put you to sleep at the wheel, tune into the Happy Hour every Sunday night at 7.
Because falling asleep at the wheel could be very dangerous. You could really hurt yourself. Just trying to keep you safe.
On 90.1 FM, The Heat.
Welcome back to This Week in Geek on 90.1 FM, The Heat.
What do you guys think of that rant?
Dave, I think you're probably the most screwed up individual I have ever met in my life. I'm pretty sure you are disturbed.
I think it was your idea to have him die at the end.
I think so. And Dave, you have to get a lot closer to your mic there, buddy.
I'm sorry about that. Is that better?
No, it would help if I turned your mic on. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
That's nice.
I'm sorry,
Very,
guys.
very smooth mic.
Yep, that is how we roll here at This Week in Geek.
This
Noobing
early
it
in the
up.
morning. Very nice.
Yeah, exactly. We're just so excited for everything we have to do today. Which reminds me, I would like to invite our listeners to interact with the show live right now, if you're so inclined. You can text message 289-228-1406 to get a little bit of live interaction with us here. If your text message is interesting on the air, we'll talk about it. And if not, well, balls. So anyway, moving right along here, we're going to introduce another segment to the show, which was played for the first time last week.
Yes, it was.
And
the Retro Gamer Minute.
Featuring you, usually at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes. And, I didn't stop that pattern this week, so delightful randomness once again.
So, yes, we're going to take a listen to the Retro Gamer Minute, and then we will be right back here on This Week in Geek. And I haven't even heard this yet, so I don't even know what to expect. And then after that, we're coming back with the news.
Woo!
What's going on, everyone? Pierce the Punk Dirks here from This Week in Geek with the Retro Gamer Minute. In today's episode, I will be discussing a classic from the NES. That's right, Excitebike. Excitebike is your typical racing game, filled with oil spills, bumps, and jumps to screw you along the way. What's not so typical is how your Excitebiker will not die. Seriously, has anyone noticed the amount of abuse this bastard can actually take? He'll fly off a huge frickin' jump on his motorcycle only to come crashing down horrifically, shattering his legs and his spine, only to get back up and get on his bike to do it again and again and again. This guy has seen more devastation than an afternoon of Fox caught on tape TV shows could ever offer. Yet he always gets back up and does it over again. After some deep thought, I've come to believe that the Excitebiker is not whom he appears to be. He is, in fact, get ready for it, the Terminator. Think about it. Both Excitebike and the Terminator were released in 1984. 2 Terminators were sent back to that time. One was sent to destroy Sarah Connor, while the other was sent to a racing game. You all think I'm crazy, huh? Oh, just wait until one of Excitebiker crashes goes wrong and you see him emerge from the flames with his red eyes and cold steel body waiting to kill. So yeah, Excitebike. Fun game. For retro gamers. I've been Pierce the Punk Dirks.
God, I love that sting.
Wow. That's all I gotta say for Pierce's retro minute there.
Yeah,
Holy crap, wow.
Thank you.
Pierce, I think you might just be as messed up as Dave.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I should just leave you guys to your own devices.
All right.
But, yes, Steph, so enlighten us with what is going on in the world this week, which people won't know until next week. 'Cause that's just how the release schedule works on this show.
Oh, okay, all right. First up, Mother 3 fan translation patch is to go live soon.
Yeah! What the hell is Mother 3?
Have you ever played Earthbound, you fool?
No. I was out,
It's
talking
only the
to
best
girls
game
when this
ever.
game was released.
Well, this is better.
This
than
is
talking
why
to girls.
Dave and Stefan know about it.
This is better than doing other things besides talking with girls. Okay.
You lie,
It's that
Dave.
good.
Lies and slander, Dave.
Awkward
Moving on.
silence, yes, go
Moving
on.
on, Stefan.
All right, basically, for anybody who has played Earthbound, they know exactly what the Mother series is all about. For those who don't, well, Earthbound was Mother 2 released on the Super NES.
I was unaware of this. I knew Earthbound was based on something else, but it just never caught my attention. But it's weird, though. Just to kind of localize the story here, to localize the lead. There was actually a sealed mint-in-box copy here in the region sitting in Entertainment Overload for like $70.
Yeah.
And that's a damn bargain considering some of the eBay prices I've seen.
Yeah. Basically, a year or two ago, Mother 3 came out on the Game Boy Advance in Japan, and, well, Nintendo has yet to release it around here, and people are wondering why.
I would like to see Earthbound on the Virtual Console, actually, just to see what it's all about.
It's a pretty epic game.
Mm-hmm.
Very fun.
Next up, we've got Richard Garriott. He actually, as everybody knows, he's gone into space recently. For those of you who don't, well, now you do.
Now, he's the guy who created Ultima Online, right?
And Tabula Rasa.
Oh, okay.
Well, while he's in space right now, he actually decided to send back a coded message in the form of an image using Tabula Rasa's glyph language.
Wow, what a nerd.
Yes. The message itself was translated, and it states, "Earth is the cradle of humanity, but mankind will not be in the cradle forever."
Ooh.
Dark and spooky and
Yes.
deep.
If anybody wants more info on Garriott's trip, though, updates can be found over at Space Adventures website, which the company was founded to create and facilitate space tourism.
So, who wants to send Twig in the space? You can donate at 0fbi@hotmail.com
I
via our
think we could
PayPal
use that
link.
money for a lot better usage than Mike's.
Screw you, I want to go to space.
Oh, man. All right. You might enjoy this one, Mike. A Metal Gear Solid 4 port might be imminent for the 360.
Now, yeah, I was actually reading about this on shacknews.com, and I think they addressed it on Hard News, actually. I don't think the 360 has the power for it, but I know Microsoft said, yeah, we do.
I know. I'd like to see how they can fit all the content onto a reasonable amount of discs.
Yeah, because the game would have now. I know Metal Gear is on like a 50 gig Blu-ray disc, and they even had to compress it then. So for it to fit that much on the 360, it had to be like 8 discs big or some crap like that.
I don't know, but 4 I'd say is enough.
I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to see them do another Metal Gear adventure. Maybe do a side addendum to Metal Gear 4. Maybe follow Raiden or follow, I don't know, Liquid Ocelot or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Konami's probably just trying for a quick cash grab.
Well, yeah. Well, they've got 360 fans begging to give them money. Oh, please, take your money elsewhere, sir.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
No, yeah.
It'll happen. You watch.
So, yeah, Warner Brothers actually hired Sam Raimi, for the DC Comics movie. Or a DC Comics movie.
Does it mention which property's involved?
It's actually for the movie adaptation of the graphic novel Sleeper.
I can't say that I've actually ever heard of this, so if any of our listeners know what Sleeper is about, please text us.
I read about it online. It actually has to do with, some guy who's infused with, alien abilities where he doesn't feel pain, and he's allowed to pass that power on to other people via touch.
Exactly.
Oh, wow, that's
exactly.
weird. That sounds pretty cool, though.
And actually, I'd like to correct myself. They hired Red Inglesby for Sam Raimi's movie.
Ah, okay.
My mistake.
Oh, just while I'm thinking about it, we just got a text message from Steve's last Megatron at PredaconEmpire.com. He loves the show.
Aw, why thank you.
Thank you. You are awesome. Thank you.
You warm our hearts, sir.
Unlike Stefan. Stefan's just kind of there.
Exactly.
Continue with the news, Stefan.
Don't make me punch you in the back of the head while we're on air. That won't be pretty.
I'm not Yoshi, Stefan.
I know. That's why I said it won't be pretty. All right. Michelle Hudgens actually finally graduated from high school. Dun, dun, dun.
Now, she's one of the chicks from High School Musical or something, right?
Yeah. Now, when I first read this article, I was like, okay, so it's not what it seems at first. Technically, she's graduating high school in the movies.
So, Stefan, let me get this straight.
Why
are you looking up stuff on High School Musical?
It popped up on Canada.com. I'm sorry.
Why is this on the news?
Wait, don't you mean Vanessa Hudgens?
No.
No,
Michelle.
Vanessa Hutchins has a very special place on my hard drive, if you catch my drift.
Oh, Mike.
Hey!
Related at all? I'm kind of confused.
I don't know.
But Stefan, why the hell, seriously, did you put a story on a High School Musical in today's show? We stand for everything but High School Musical.
It wasn't about the musical. It was about her, you fool. Anyway, moving on.
No, it wasn't. It was about the musical.
Moving along.
You have to go to, like, Ain't It Cool News and ComingSoon.net.
That's where I go, and I still found these crazy things.
I wish we had a sound effect of, like, a thud.
All right.
Moving on.
Yes.
Moving along.
Tina Fey signed a book deal.
Ooh. And, oh, yeah, she's the girl from Saturday Night Live that does the Sarah
Palin lookalike.
Palin
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah, she also wrote Mean Girls.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I completely
She
forgot
wrote
about
that movie?
I believe so, yeah.
Holy crap.
Right.
Basically, the deal was reported to be worth $5 million, and that her book is not being pitched as a memoir, but instead as nonfiction humor, more in the style of the author, screenwriter, and film director Nora Ephron.
Oh, that's cool.
I like that. That's cool. Mm-hmm. Even, Steph, I would like to point this out. We just got a text message from Steve Saylor.
I got a feeling. I don't.
Why, Stefan, why?
You're never going to live this one down.
Shut up.
And our fan, Clark, from the good old state of Oklahoma, says it wishes the Joker would blow up High School Musical. Now, not that we condone violence.
I can agree with that. Now, can we just finish the news?
Sadly, yes. Because then we have a news segment to introduce again today.
All right. A very minute fraction of the internet is actually compliant to standards.
What the hell do you mean?
Okay, Opera, the makers of the browser by the exact same name, have actually begun publishing early findings of an ongoing study that they've been doing. And it's actually to provide information on the structure of the internet. Basically, they basically created a small little program that crawls the internet to look at the code behind sites. They found out that only 4.13% of them actually adhere to the strict XHTML standards.
So basically, websites are doing their own thing and no one gives a crap.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's the internet for you.
This was a slow news week, wasn't it, Stephen?
Yeah, actually it was.
So once again, if you want to submit ideas and stuff for the show, feedback
or just want to rip on Stefan.
Or just want to rip on Stefan.
Like we do.
Feedback at ThisWeekInGeek.net. We're always welcome for stories. In fact, I actually wanted to put this out there a little while ago. If you want to contribute to the show, once again, you can do whatever you want. If it's cool enough, we will put it on the air, and you can have a little bit of coolness with Twig in your life. We definitely encourage contributions. Kind of like how I have on the GameHeroes.com with my other show, The Prototype. We do audio submissions, graphic submissions. I usually just get told off via creative hate mail. But
it's just cross promo after cross promo with you, isn't it, Mike?
Pretty much. I am a marketing whore, pretty much. I'm not going to deny this.
You're also a suit.
I am a suit, because I'm a hardcore department store, if you catch my drift. Anyway, so we are going to go to the Retro Anime Minute with you, Stefan, which I hope doesn't involve High School Flipping Musical.
No, it doesn't. Trust me, I made sure not to.
So, yes, we're going to take a listen to this. Then, guys, we're going out to break here on Niagara's New Rock, 90.1
Niagara's?
Niagara's. Niagara's Viagra, 90.1 FM.
Will somebody please cue that fight?
Samurai Pizza Cats. As the name suggests, it was all about cat samurais fighting crime and saving the day. One thing that made this show awesome, though, was the fact it loved to poke fun at itself. I mean, come on! The main characters' names were Speedy Cerviche, Polyester, and Guido Anchovy. And they all fought the villain known as the Big Cheese, who was just some crazy rat who would send bad guy after bad guy after bad guy after them, with most fights ending up being against some giant robot anyway. Even the theme song had that crazy 1990s humor to it. What can I say about a show that doesn't just sound like cheesy pop culture from this era? Probably nothing, because that's what this show did, and did it right! The show actually got a completely new script for its English translation because the Japanese never sent over the transcripts for the series. Honestly, how f***ed up does that get?
So yeah, Samurai Pizza Cats. Amazingly good classic anime. And if you don't like it, you suck.
They'll time your every breath, and every day you're in this place, you're 2 days nearer death. But you go. Well, I process man am I, and I'm telling you.
Prices are going up on just about everything, but not here. We keep giving you the best in new rock, and it's absolutely free.
All I'm about is that dollar bill. All I'm about is that dollar bill.
Keep your coin, and we'll keep the rock coming. 90.1 FM The Heat, your place for new rock.
One women and song.
Here at The Heat, we love to hear what you think, but we usually have the music playing too loud. So we need you to write your thoughts down. Fill out a ballot from the Niagara News with your name, contact info, and either what you love about the station or something you dislike or think we could improve on. Leave your ballot in the envelope outside the fishbowl and you'll be entered to win our grand prize given away at the end of the semester. Have a say in what we play. Only on The Heat. 90.1 FM, Niagara's New Rock.
What's going on, G1s? Hey, it's Stuttering Craig from ScrewAttack.com, and you are listening to This Week in Geek with Mike the Birdman Dodd and Steve Snowball Sailor on 90.1 FM. Let's get freaky.
Welcome back to This Week in Geek. I'm, of course, Mike the Birdman Dodd, joined with the rest of the Twigites today.
Pierce the Punk Dirks.
Stefan the Skunk Peltier.
And David Double D Dennis.
Thank you, LeVar Burton. Wow.
So, Mike, what is today's show topic, aside from Stefan being a noob with High School Musical 3?
Well, today's topic is not High School Musical 3, unfortunately, for all you Disney listeners out there. Yes, today we are talking about urban legends, folklore, and other all sorts of messed up stuff, because we're going to start going into Halloween mode here. And, well, to start teasing it up, we're going to have some giveaways coming pretty soon from our good friends at Anchor Bay.
Yes, we are.
We got DVDs, we got shirts, we got all sorts of craziness. So if you want to win, you got to tune in. Man, I should copyright that. That's good.
I think that's been used by every radio station ever, Mike. I'm sorry.
Shut up.
No, we will not.
Okay, so Dave and Steph, I know you guys have done the most hardcore research for this show, so I'd like one of you two to begin us off with some of the urban legends. Now, at the end of the show, we're going to tell you which ones are BS and which ones are true.
Okay, mine are kind of in a different vein.
God, I forgot about this.
Yeah, I wrote mine kind of let me move the mic a little bit closer. There we go. I wrote mine kind of like when you're sitting around a fire, someone's telling a story, except it's really bad. Anyways, I'll go right ahead and tell the stories. So to all the listeners out there, get out your marshmallows and flashlights and put them under your chin
at 9 o'clock in the morning.
And close all the blinds so you can't see the sun and it's creepy.
And set a fire in your house. Okay, gotcha.
Anyways, yeah. So this first story, it's about a little girl who gets a dog for her birthday or Christmas or whatever. Anyways, she loves this dog, and every night when she goes to bed, she puts her hand under her bed for the dog to lick it. I don't know, I guess it's a security thing or something, whatever. Anyway, so there's this guy at a mental institution. He hates dogs because a giant mutated dog had killed his parents and then licked his face, causing the man to have incredible super strength and a giant dog tongue. It's kind of like when Spider-Man got bit by the radioactive spider, except it was a radioactive dog, and it killed his parents, causing him to have a personal vendetta against all dogs. Now, one day he escapes and goes to this little girl's house, having learned about it after the dog saved the girl's life in a plane crash. Oh yeah, the dog can fly. So while all the other people on the plane brutally died, including the girl's parents, she survived because she rode on a flying dog. It was basically the best dog ever, and that's why this guy picked the house, because he wanted to make an impression. So the girl goes to bed one night, and she sticks her hand down under the bed, and the dog licks it as usual. Now here's where the radioactive serial killer comes in. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, he's a serial killer. He killed like 100 people with his radioactive powers before they put him in the mental institution. But ultimately they couldn't contain his super strength, so he ended up escaping a few days later. So he gets to this girl's house and sneaks in. Then the dog comes running out and he's like, yes, this is my chance to kill the ultimate dog. But then the dog starts flying and he tries to attack it with his superpowers, but it keeps dodging because it can fly. So somehow the girl sleeps through all this until eventually the crazy super strength serial killer guy gets the best of the dog and kills it with a steak knife he found in the girl's kitchen. By the way, it was really stupid of the girl's parents to leave a steak knife out in the open like that. But wait, the parents died in the plane crash, and now she's being raised by the dog, so really it was stupid of the dog to leave the steak knife out in the open, which is ironic because it led to his demise. So then the guy runs and hides under the girl's bed just as she wakes up after all the commotion. Wondering if something has happened to her dog, she puts her hand under the bed so it'll lick it again. Nothing happens, so she's worried. So she's like, ahem, and the guy doesn't lick her hand. Then she's like, hey, you stupid mutt, lick my hand already. Then he finally gets the hint and licks her hand. So she keeps waking up in the night for some reason, and the guy has to lick her hand like 9 times. Then it's almost morning, and the guy finally gets ready to leave. But before he does, he leaves the girl a special message. Then she wakes up a few minutes after he left and goes to the washroom. Then when she looks in the mirror, she screams. Not only is the dog hanging from its own intestines from the shower rod opposite the mirror, but written in the mirror in the dog's blood is, I've been licking your hand for the past 4 hours and I killed your stupid dog.
You're listening to 90.1 FM, The Heat, Niagara's new rock. God, what a bad time for a station ID.
So yes, that was a variation of the classic urban legend of humans can lick too, which has been covered in basically every form of media possible.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird. It's one of those myths. Now, during my part of the research there, I was reading myths sometimes get changed on their location. So this one I think actually began in Illinois or something like that. And I think they traced it back as early as 1963 for this one. So this one probably didn't happen, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but that's pretty disturbing, though, just to think that someone can hide under your bed.
Aside from the fact of, the dog flying and
the
guy being a radioactive human serial killer. The way the story goes
true,
is,
by the way,
is that the girl in the middle of the night, like, she doesn't hear her dog, like, she puts her hand underneath the bed, the bed, and then it's licked, and in the morning she wakes up and she finds, like, the dog strung up on the shower, like its intestines hanging out, with written on the mirror, like, humans can lick too.
Yeah, which, I don't know about you, but I can tell the difference between a human tongue and a dog tongue. You'd have to be a special kind of stupid.
Even though you're half asleep?
Yeah, well, dude, okay, you've never had anything lick you outside of animals that I'm aware of. So, trust me, you could tell. It's long, and I'm going to shut up before this goes really pornographic.
Yes, please. Okay, so, Stefan, your turn.
All right. This actually only happened last month on the 12th. A train crash in the San Fernando Valley in California actually resulted in the death of 25 people.
Yeah?
One of the deceased, a man by the name of Charles E. Peck, was pulled from the wreckage 12 hours after the crash. But for the 11 hours prior, his cell phone had been placing calls to his loved ones, son, mother, fiancé, etc. In total, 35 calls were made on that cell phone in that 11-hour time span.
And he was dead?
Yep.
Now, it's actually kind of funny you mention this, because there's another urban legend I can tie into this one. Now, I could see this one being true simply because maybe the phone shorted out.
Want me to reveal it now or wait till the end of the episode?
Reveal it now. Now
it is true.
I'm curious. Really?
It is true.
So, did he leave any voicemails despite being dead?
What happened is that when the calls were placed, when the loved ones picked up the phone, all they heard was static. When they'd hang up and call back, it would go straight to the voicemail.
Wow, that's kind of weird.
I know.
Yeah, there was a story out of England. I reported this on thegameheroes.com. Guess one of the first episodes I did there. And a guy was getting a call from his dead wife for the last 5 years. She would never say anything, but it came from her number, and her caller ID would show up.
Now that is weird.
That's really strange. You see, that's another thing with like urban legends and folklore, is they often carry not always a scary message, but sometimes it's a message from beyond the grave, like of love or regret or something like that.
Yeah. Or just completely something out of left field.
Or something completely out of left field, like the whole if you drink Coke and Pop Rocks or something, your stomach explodes. Now, didn't they do that on like Mythbusters or something?
Yeah. Then again, a lot of, at least I found with urban legends, most of the time they are cautionary tales, or they're tales like the
don't do stupid.
The condition you're behavior, pretty much. With, like, the Pop Rocks and Coke. I mean, telling kids, don't shove candy down your throat 24 hours or you'll explode.
Yeah, because, well, I think they said you'll get really, really bad gas pains.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Now, last 2 years ago, rather, we did the Coke and Mentos experiment. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, with the whole three of you, get a bottle of Diet Coke, has to be Diet Coke, and you get Mentos, right? Drop the Mentos as quickly as you can into the bottle of pop and shake it up. You'll get a stream of pop shooting something like 20 feet in the air. Now, how that happens is there's gas bubbles in the Coke, and they create little surface tension on the surface of the Mentos, and it can't handle it. The gas has nowhere to go except up.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
thank you for that science lesson, Mike.
Bill Nye, the science guy. Now, allegedly, if you do this in your stomach, it'll force the contents of your bowels out the other end. Supposedly.
They need to have a Mythbusters After Dark to cover all these things.
Yeah.
Like all the urban legends, all these dark and really twisted, sadistic things. I would pay money to see that.
Speaking of dark and twisted, one of the urban legends I'm going to talk about here is one I'm pretty sure everyone's familiar with, especially around this time of year, and that is the legend of Bloody Mary. Now, this one, no one's been able to trace the exact origin of this one, simply because there's too many coincidences in history to what this actually could be. And one of the ones that they say is it could be Mary Queen of Scots, it could be a girl named Mary Worth, which is probably one of the most common variations on this. And how Bloody Mary works is you go into the bathroom at night, only at night.
At midnight.
At midnight or something like that, and you turn off all the lights in there so it's completely pitch black, and you just keep chanting, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Hail Mary, I have your baby, or something like that is another variation I've heard of this one. And Mary Worth, you're not real. Mary Worth, I hate you. And supposedly this ghostly face will appear in the mirror.
Well, that's just mean. If someone was like, I hate you from beyond the grave, I'd pop up and be like, oh, what? Screw you, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I actually have the truth, I guess, behind the Bloody Mary story.
All right, go ahead, Dave.
If you want me to read that.
Give her.
Okay. This one's actually pretty freaky, too, so you might want to brace yourselves. But so there's this lady named Mary that works at this mirror factory in southern Nebraska in the 1970s called the Mirror Factory. Okay, so
How
the name,
creative, Dave.
It wasn't very original, but it's forgivable. So one day the boss wants a Bloody Mary to drink. That's right, the drink actually predates the story. Oh, and it was okay to drink on the job back then. That's the 70s for you. Anyways, on the way to picking up the drink, she dies in a horrible car crash. Yeah, I know, it sucks. But fortunately for her, she worked at a mirror factory, and she died in a crash that involved a lot of broken glass, and her death was bloody, and her name happened to be Mary, and she was on her way to pick up a Bloody Mary. So some higher power thought it would be hilarious for some reason to trap her in the mirror dimension. So she's stuck there, but she can come out, but naturally when she does, she's really pissed off all the time. I mean, the mirror dimension is not a nice place. Everything is completely backwards, pretty much. So if you want to eat a pizza, instead you get an azip, which is basically the most disgusting food ever. It's the equivalent of that one time when you threw up and chunks went up your nose and then you sniffled and then the chunks went back into your throat and then you threw up again. Yeah, so she's not
Thank you,
happy.
Dave. You're not allowed near the microphone anymore.
So if you do summon her, although I have no idea why you would, she'll claw your eyes out and choke you to death with them. But in order to do it, you must follow these careful instructions. First off, you have to wait until midnight on Halloween. It can't be 11:59 and it can't be 12:01. It has to be exactly midnight. So make sure you're running on the U.S. atomic time. Because Mary does not accept any tardiness whatsoever. Then you have to find a mirror, make sure it's a decent size too. It doesn't work with any of those dinky powder mirrors or anything like that. And make sure it's in a completely dark room. Then say Bloody Mary's name exactly 666 times and make sure you're keeping count because it can't be 665 and it can't be 667. It has to be exactly 666. But make sure you're talking fast because you have to say all 666 Bloody Marys in the 60 seconds between 11:59 and 12:01. And yes, you have to say it yourself. You can't get Microsoft Sam to do it or anything like that. And if you can do that, then congratulations, you're going out with a bang. You get to die the most epic death ever. But good luck. It won't be easy. I know what I'm doing when I turn 80.
So there you go, folks. The truth behind Bloody Mary. All is revealed here on This Week in Geek.
Dave,
Wow.
Do you have to do it at the start or the end of the day at midnight?
In which time zone?
I guess Nebraska time.
Nebraska
And, I guess the start of the day, because that would be in between, like, Devil's Night and Halloween. So that's, like, the most evil time.
Most evil time of all time.
Yay for the witching hour.
Yeah. Although, on a more serious note, there are actually, I've heard of people having accidents doing the Bloody Mary thing. Like, people have been so panicked they thought they saw something in the mirror trying to get out of the bathroom, and they've actually, like, hurt each other. I think I read on Snopes.com last night, one of the variations of the myth, you have to have a knife with you. And a bunch of panicked people in a small space.
Well, that's just impractical.
Exactly. Yeah. But I'm just thinking, wow, there's a lot of things that really, really, really could go wrong with that. Now, I myself have never tried this myth.
Me neither. But what would you need a knife for when she's going to kill you with her bare hands?
You stab it. What do you use a knife for? You stab things.
I don't know. You're just in the
She's a
bathroom.
ghost!
It's midnight. You're making a sandwich and summoning Bloody Mary. It's good times.
I guess so.
All right.
Actually, little really, really, really quick story here. I was at my friend Breck's about 15, 20 years ago, and we were screwing around with his sister Sabrina, and we just watched the movie Candyman. So we had a butter knife with us, and we went to the bathroom and did the Candyman thing. What we didn't know is his brother Jason was hiding in the in the shower, and he touched the cold metal to her back. She screamed, so I thought she was literally going to explode the house with her sonic scream. She almost died. It was incredible. Then she beat the crap right out of him. I'm talking fist on chest, just kept wailing him.
Oh, God.
But it was totally worth it. We died of laughter. And then, oddly enough, that night, when Breck fell asleep, we covered him in breakfast meat and maple syrup while he slept.
Thank you, Mike.
We didn't need to know that
I
last
can't believe
bit.
I actually am your roommate.
You see, that's why you lock your door at night.
This is very true.
Oh, man.
Okay, Stefan, now throw us another...
Actually, we don't have time. We have to go to break right now.
Okay.
So hit some music there, Pierce. And we will be right back on This Week in Geek on 90.1 FM, The Heat, Niagara's New Rock.
Everywhere I go, someone's trying to be my girlfriend's best friend. I'm trying to pretend I'm relaxed, but I'm playing castanets with my knees. I try to be cool and give her space, but a guy's always there ready to jump right up and take my place. Everyone in this room seems to want to make a big fool out of me.
Are you being bullied, picked on, humiliated in front of your peers? Are there problems in the home? Are you too scared to tell anyone? Are you a child? If you answered yes to the above questions, then Kids Help Phone is there for you. Kids Help Phone is there to provide immediate comfort and support 24 hours a day. For more information, call 1-800-668-6868 or visit kidshelpphone.ca.
Some say college students are too old to go trick-or-treating, but here at 90.1 FM, we have a different opinion. Join us on Friday, October 31st to trick-or-treat with the Heat. We'll have Halloween games and candy outside the fishbowl in exchange for a small donation for UNICEF. Trick-or-treat with the Heat this Halloween. Brought to you by 90.1 FM, Niagara's New Rock.
Next time on This Week in Geek, Dave and the guys power up and go Super Saiyan. Who's going to win? Goku or This Week in Geek? Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Niagara's New Rock 90.1 FM. I'm, of course, Mike the Birdman Dodd, joined with the rest of my flight crew.
Pierce the Punk Dirks.
And AJ, who's out the door right now.
Rubbing his moves against the glass. Thank you.
and Stephen Skunk Peltz is here, too.
Yes, that is
David.
AJ the St. Bernard, one of the many interns here at This Week in Geek. In fact, guess what I'm thinking about it? We've hired 2 new interns. If you've been on our website recently, we have Stacy Scalisi, who's yet to get a name. So if you got a name for us, feedback at thisweekingeek.net or 289-228-1406. Oh, that reminds me. Completely forgot about this off the top of the show, guys. We have a call-in line now. We have voicemail.
Fancy.
Exactly. So that number, if you want to leave TWIG voicemail, now this also is for thegameheroes.com. So that number is 1-817-717-7202. That number again is 817-717-7202. And if your voicemail is cool, we will play you on the show. But yes, so before the break, we were talking about urban legend. We were talking about Bloody Mary and me watching my friend get covered in breakfast sausage. And so we're going to... What?
You said Breckus.
Breckus. Well, that was his name, but Breckus.
Nice, nice.
So yes, moving right along to another urban myth. In fact, we're going to let Steph lead this one off because I don't want to let Dave near the microphone.
Wow, Mike, you're nice. Okay. Apparently, construction workers' dead bodies are buried within the Hoover Dam.
Really?
Yes.
Do tell. Explain.
Okay, it's pretty easy to guess that a lot of people would have died during the construction of said dam.
Mm-hmm.
And with it having 4,400,000 cubic yards of concrete,
I could believe that.
it's pretty easy that a dead body would wind up in there.
Now, I've heard similar myths that in certain buildings in New York City, the same thing has happened. There's like lots of dead bodies buried in foundations and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. I am just yanking your chain. It's actually completely false.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I could believe that though. If somebody fell into the cement, you can't get them out.
It's just that during the construction of the dam, integrity was of the utmost importance. They wouldn't even have let a 4-inch piece of plywood stay in the concrete during the pour.
Wow.
Yeah, they were that serious.
That's actually pretty intense for
that's why it took so long. But yeah, that is one of the more popular urban legends, so to speak.
Now, I don't know whether this one's true or not. Now, supposedly for every mile of the Canadian Railroad, or the railroad in general, there's a dead Chinese person. Supposedly. Yeah, I actually heard this myth because they used Chinese immigrant labor to help build the railroads, lay the track, and blast and everything like that. So, for every mile, supposedly.
So they just kind of left them in the ground? Or?
I guess so. I'm not entirely sure of that. So, once again, if you guys know, feedback at thisweekingeek.net. In fact, I'd like to invite our listeners to tell us some of the urban myths maybe from your area, if you've ever heard anything really, really, really weird. Stuff like that, because I guess this kind of ties into ghost stories, but this is more cautionary stuff than it is anything. So
I know in Waynfleet we have the Great Lake Sea Monster.
Really?
Apparently.
For real?
Yeah.
Tell us the story.
I don't really think there is a story. There's just like I saw pictures somewhere of some like fishing boat that actually found like a weird, gigantic sea monster or something in Lake Erie. If you look it up online, you can actually find a lot of pictures of like fishermen finding what look like Leopleurodons or something like that.
Wow, that's really strange. And that's another popular myth and like urban legend, is that there's still dinosaurs around, or there's alligators in the sewer.
Alligators in the sewers actually is based on fact, because early, I think in the 20s, actually found one in New York.
Yeah, something like that. Like someone had flushed it down the toilet. And
yeah,
it
as a little
survived.
baby, and it was like an 8-foot long freaking alligator in the sewer.
Yeah, so that's kind of strange. I'm trying to think of like other really weird urban myths. Now, evidently in a lot of these urban myths, it always has to deal with psycho killers. And the one that I remember the most, because I think this was my first urban legend, was the woman was driving somewhere. This girl was just driving somewhere. She pulls over into a gas station, grabs like a bag of chips or whatever, and gets back in the car, fills the car, and leaves, right? So this other car is following behind her, starts behaving erratically, like lights start flashing, honking the horn, trying to pass her, gets beside her, then just kind of dips back and everything. And she's wondering, what the hell is this guy's problem, right? So as the night goes on, this guy keeps following and following and following, and eventually he gets her, he leaves or something. And she pulls over, and what she doesn't realize is that there was a guy in the backseat of her car with a knife trying to kill her. So he was trying to warn her the whole time. Now, in some variations of the story, she gets away. In other ones, she doesn't.
Yeah, I've heard this one before.
You know what's weird? It's true. This actually happened.
Yikes.
In 1960-something. A gas station attendant was trying to get a girl to come into the station, like into the gas thing. He's like, please come here, please come here. Why? Please just do it. And a guy had escaped from a mental institution or something like that and tried to kill her. Now, there's another true version of this story, I think, and it involves a cop. So, similar thing happened, but a guy was hiding in the back of a cop car trying to kill the cop. So that's pretty messed up.
Isn't there always like a big barrier in between the back and the front of the cop car?
Not in the early days.
That's probably what prompted them to put that in.
Yeah, exactly. So they couldn't, reach around and choke the guy with his own handcuffs or something like that. But that's pretty intense stuff. I'm trying to think of another myth I heard.
I believe Dave has another famous sort of murder story, so to speak. Or
Do we really want to let him near the mic?
I do in a sad sort of way.
I think we should.
All right, then.
All right, so this last one is called The Claw That Wouldn't Shut Up. So one night, this guy and this girl, they're about 18 or so, and they are so horny. So they go to this remote location that's totally out of the way of everywhere, so they can get some privacy and do their quote-unquote business.
Wow.
But then, just as Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On is coming across the airwaves, it's interrupted by an urgent radio message. The announcer says, "There's a serial killer on the loose with a big metal claw, so watch out," or something like that. So naturally the girl is scared, but naturally the boy is still horny, because boys are like that. When they get going, it would take death itself to stop them. Hint, hint. Okay, now that I've given it away, I might as well cut to the chase. The poor sucker dies. He tries to make out with his girlfriend, but she's like, "No, we have to go home." So finally, with the mood totally ruined by the fact that there's a serial killer afoot and the fact that his girlfriend won't put out, he leaves to go take a leak. But then he dies. That's right, he brutally and horribly dies. The serial killer with the claw hand comes out of the bushes and massacres the guy with this gigantic 3-pronged claw that the man had actually won in a chess match against Satan that earned him a chance to go back to Earth. So it's actually a Satan claw. There are only 3 known Satan claws. The other one is owned by Satan, and the last is owned by Santa Claus. In fact, that's how he got his name. But that's a different story. Anyways, so this claw is not only huge and menacing, but also has magical hell powers. So the claw man proceeds to stab the guy, rip his still beating heart out of his chest, and choke him with it. Then he burns him alive while he's choking on his own heart. Then he hangs his body on a tree by his own intestines. I don't know why, but vicious serial killers like to hang people by their own intestines for some reason.
And with that, we're going to take a break here on This Week in Geek.
Stay tuned to find out the exciting conclusion. Yes.
All right, we'll be right back.
The girl.
We'll be back on Niagara's New Rock, 90.1 FM.
Had a stressful week? Life got you down? Let us help you relax on a Friday night with me, Dutch Rob, and me, Tyler White, on the Feel Good Radio Show. We'll kick off the show with some relaxing tunes, followed by half an hour of music to get you pumped up for the weekend. We'll also have lots to talk about, such as music news and concert updates. Listen live Friday nights from 6 to 7 on 90.1 FM The Heat, Niagara's New Rock.
The Heat is Niagara's New Rock.
I finally tapped into that spirit of self-destruction that makes rock and roll the king of music.
Plus, 90.1 FM is streaming online, so come check us out.
You're listening to This Week in Geek with Mike the Birdman Dodd and the rest of the Twig crew on Niagara's Viagra 90.1 FM. Boing! What? That was a Viagra sound effect. Just, like a, never mind.
Thank you, Sean Schemmel from Dragon Ball Z and many other animes, a cool friend of the show for his many promos, which we actually have to pay for on This Week in Geek because we have no budget.
Yay! Wait,
wow.
No.
Woot.
Well, we do have a budget. It just is ludicrously expensive to run this show month to month. But for Sean, it's worth it.
Yes, it is. You know what else it's worth it for? To hear the exciting conclusion to Dave's epic tale about the claw that wouldn't shut up. From Satan himself, apparently.
Exactly. Claw monster. Yes. Dave, continue.
Here's the shocking conclusion. Okay, so to wrap up what I just talked about, the guy was brutally killed, and now he's hanging by a tree by his own intestines. And like I said, serial killers like to hang people by their intestines. They think it's creative, but it's not. It's kind of like when people have like a garden, and in the garden is like a tipped over bucket, and everyone thinks, oh, it's so creative, the bucket is tipped over, but everyone does it. It's not creative at all. Anyways, The only problem is that the guy's girlfriend was watching the whole time while her boyfriend was being viciously murdered since he decided to spring a leak just a few meters from the car, fearing that a serial killer might be afoot, which is ironic since he still died anyways. However, neither the guy nor the girl actually saw the guy that was wielding the claw since it gave him invisibility powers. So then the claw keeps scratching on the girl's door and she doesn't know what to do. She can't run away, so she just sits there and screams. But the louder she screams, the louder the claw claws away at her door. Eventually she stops screaming and then the claw stops scratching, but she stays in the car overnight just in case. Then she gets up in the morning and tries to open her door, but she can't because there's a claw stuck in it. So she crawls across the seat and opens the other door instead. Making her way around the car, she sees the claw still attached to the outside of the door. You see, the guy that was attached to it was pulled back to hell, leaving only the claw on Earth. Then the claw attached itself to the girl and she became the Claw Master!
You know what, Dave? I just had this thought. I was actually going to play the Johnny Young Bosch promo where he was talking about the hand sending guys back to hell. But I had taken the flash drive out of the computer before I realized this. That would have been kind of funny. But, wow. Now, yeah, that's another urban legend that's persisted throughout the years with the guy with the crazy claw hand and everything.
I did some research. I did some research, and as early as I could find the tale, it was all the way back from the 1950s.
Wow.
That's
once again, it ties to the whole cautionary tale of, like, don't be stupid as a young teenager. Don't go
to make out point.
Don't have sex in the backseat of a car. It ties into other horror movies like Friday the 13th and whatnot,
and like Halloween too.
Yeah, basically where if you do the sins, you get punished for it. So most horror movies
are based on urban legends
and urban legends. They tie in with that whole fact of cautionary tales.
Exactly. So I don't know. I guess in the closing minutes here of This Week in Geek, I think a lot of urban legends. I think a lot of them are complete BS. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
And although they do make for a fascinating story, although here's the thing I guess I miss about the innocence of youth, if we're going to go into a bit of an editorial piece here, is that you don't get a chance to talk about this sort of thing. Like, you don't have traditional campfires, and if you do, you go around and get plastered and smashed and whatever else. There is no time to tell a ghost story anymore, or a cautionary tale, because you can just download it. Like, do you guys kind of get where I'm, like, sort of coming from now? Like, the innocence of being scared is gone?
Yeah, it's sort of the old sitting around the campfire, freaking the crap out of each other sort of gone.
Yeah. And it sucks, because, like I said, some of these things are really, really, really fascinating. And other times, well, not so much. But, unlike Dave and his radioactive dog people, I don't even know what to say to that, Dave. I really don't.
Yeah.
But I guess since we're going to take another second here, actually, guys, next week's show, we're going to be talking about horror writers.
Not horror writers. We're going to be talking about horror movies. Mike.
Horror movies.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the best sort of mix of movies to have for your Halloween.
Yes, and then that'll lead us into what are we going to do for our Halloween show?
Halloween, of course.
Oh, right, yeah, we're going to be covering the John Carpenter franchise.
Yes, we are.
So, and with a very special rant, potentially by Doug from thatguywithglasses.com. We're still working on the final details of this stuff, and actually there's going to be an interview with him quite soon. Next week will be full of interviews. I'm talking to the development team from Spider-Man and Web of Shadows. I'm working on stuff with Fable 2, Gears of War 2. There are also going to be new releases next week relating to Geek Gamers, TWIG reviews, and Stacy.
Geek Gore as well.
Oh, yes, and Geek Gore. And our intern, Stacy Scalisi, is going to put together a contest where you can win a signed Prison Break script right from the set. So that should be kind of cool for all you that enjoy that show. So anyway, guys, this was a fairly good show. I'm fairly happy with it, but we're going to throw it out. So for This Week in Geek, we have all been
Pierce the Punk Dirks,
Stefan the Skunk Peltier,
and David the Horror Master Dennis.
And I've been, of course, been Mike the Birdman Dodd saying live free or die hard. And we'll be back next week right here on Niagara's New Rock 90.1 FM.
Want to see me make bubbles with my spit? Sure do. In fact, that's the theme of our next show. So don't miss it.
Capitalism! Freaking capitalism! Where's our cut?
The Birdman has lost his mind. Stay tuned next week when he evidently doesn't find it again.
See, the moose are extinct. We shot the last one. That's all urban legend.
Stay tuned next week for Electric Boogaloo. Coming up next.
You've been listening to This Week in Geek. Tune in next week when you hear Mike say,
and don't forget to spay or neuter your pet, noob.
So make sure to tune in next week on 90.1 FM, The Heat, Niagara's new rock. Check out our website at thisweekingeek.net for more geek content, as well as subscribe to our podcast through iTunes or any podcatcher. If you'd like to comment about this week's episode, head to our forums at thisweekingeek.net/forums. We'll see you next week, and remember,
lower your shields and surrender your listenership.